Malaysia Decide, sayang Malaysia, into Malaysia. Assalamualaikum, saya Syahir Rizal Kemelarifin membawakan kepada anda berkenaan dengan perkembangan menjelang Pilihan Raya Umum ke-15 yang dinantikan ramai pihak. Dan bersama saya
Jeridin Chan, terima kasih kerana bersama kami di Malaysia Decides pada hari ini. Kita bersiaran secara langsung di saluran 1, 2 Astro dan juga MYTV membawa pelbagai topik perbincangan serta perincian menjelang Pilihan Raya Umum ke-15. Anda juga boleh ikuti kami di semua social media platform termasuk Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube dan juga TikTok. Anda boleh hantarkan semua komen ataupun cadangan di semua social media platform kami. Selain itu, anda juga boleh layari di laman web rasmi TVS at tvstv.my.
Baik, pada hari ini kita sebenarnya ingin membincangkan berkenaan dengan aspirasi yang semua telah maklum di sosial media kami. Kita telah pun mewar-warkan berkenaan dengan tetamu yang kita jemput pada hari ini yang tidak lain tidak bukan adalah merupakan Presiden Parti Rakyat Bersatu Sarawak SUPP Dato Seri Dr. Sim Hian yang sudi meluangkan masa, mungkin tidak lama pada hari ini, tapi kita ingin mendengar sendiri apakah aspirasi yang bakal dibawakan kepada penonton. Tidak begitu, Jaridin?
Ya, betul. So we are very honoured today to have Dr. Sim with us to share the aspiration of SUPP and also what he is looking forward for the next 5 years. Yeah, Dr. Sim, thank you for coming today.
Terima kasih, Dato Seri.
Thank you. Thank you.
So can you share with us a bit on the party aspiration towards the 15th general election?
Sure. I mean, SUPP is 63 years old. It's actually older than Malaysia. And it started as a first political party, a multinational party, multiracial party for Sarawak, and with the view of always something for Sarawak. So that values is still around, even though we are different generations now, even though we have different views, but that aspiration will still continue. And that's why I actually very grateful to have the opportunity as the 6th president in these 63 years to continue that values for Sarawak, which is doing something for Sarawak, fighting something for Sarawak. And for the next 5 years, in fact, I mean, I have been party president since about 6 years ago, and then basically it's always been trying to reinvent and so that to make sure that the party is relevant to the people that younger generation nowadays, so that our values can move forwards. So the next 5 years is continue to build the younger generation, preparing them so that they can take over after me. And as you all know, nowadays a lot of young people very interested expressing their views, but to be actively involved in politics is quite different. Yeah, I mean, and we encourage them. As I always tell everyone, politics at home, politics at work, and politics in the community, and politics for our society.
That's really interesting, Sri, because you said about the views and the values itself. So, what actually drive the party to bring such energy?
Yeah, I think thanks a lot because I think what happened is even I am totally different generation from the previous leadership. Yeah, and then you always when you're young, you always want to do so much. Yeah, but often you said that you never had opportunity. So that's the views. But the values is what? The value is we want people in which to say, okay, you want to do so much. Is that consistent with our party always fighting for Sarawak? What sort of things that you fight for Sarawak? You know, and when you say fight for Sarawak, it's not for personal, but it's for the whole, all the Rakyats in Sarawak. And that's why if you realize that our party, SUPP, right at the beginning, they want what is the best for Sarawak, including at one stage, they said we want to be independent before we form Malaysia. And so that is some of the earlier views about how to do that. I think for Sarawak,
is it possible? Is it possible?
I think yes. I mean, even the different generation, we still have carry on forwards. And if you look at it, I mean, MS63, that's what the SUP fight for back in 63 years ago. And now we're still fighting for it. Why? Because the job is not completed yet. And now you need different type of leadership to come. Yeah. And because because we are different society setting now. We are totally with the handphones, information readily available, and if you look at the older generation, they probably cook at home. My generation go and tapao. The younger, my children generation is just tekan food delivery. So even though a different generation, with different ways of doing that, but I think we got common. The common is we want to things that not done, not completed like MS63. We want to continue, and until we achieve what is all our rights for the people of Sarawak.
So what are the engagement programs that has been done by SUPP to nurturing the young people in the party for future leadership?
I think it's important to have engage with a younger one, because it's very different type of engagement nowadays, because our younger one, right, they don't read newspapers anymore. You know, and I personally, I still find that the best engagement is still face to face. I like face to face because I want them to be able to express themselves, and then so that I can share with them what my points or angles, and then we come to what is best that we move together. So. Over the last few weeks, I have been doing town hall sessions with the SPM and STPN students, and I encourage them to speak out, because many of them, right, they're all very shy, and because they are very good in handphone.
Digital based.
Yeah. So I said, you need to speak out, because at the end of the day, you need to go to work. You know, when you go to university, all those things, you still need to speak out. And then this weekend, we are SUPP is launching our new bees. New bees is 18 to 28, as well as launching our Putri. Our Putri is just targeted the young ladies who is less than 30 years old. So we want to formalize it. Apart from the town hall session, we want to formalize it. And you know
the role of the community.
Because we want to empower them. Because if I organize an event, right, they may say, "Oh, this is for uncle and auntie." And if they do organize their own events, right, we join them rather than they come and join us. And I think this is very important, because if you look at the Sarawak demographic, the young people. I mean, when I say young people, doesn't mean that 18 and below, because the median age, I mean, the most common age group now is between 20 to 30 years old. I mean, 20. And then after that is going to form diamond shape already. Then at some stage, we are going to reverse pyramid. And so we said the young people, it means that 20 to 30 years old. And 20 to 30 years old, once they get out of university, I mean, or those that didn't go to university, when they go to technical colleges, they have different aspirations, you know. Aspiration maybe their work, maybe their housing, maybe the way that they look at life, you know, are very different. You know, even my son look at life very different from me, you know. So we had to, even the different, but we are all Sarawakians. We still need to come together to have same directions, yeah.
So Dato Sri, regarding the digital users and all the media socials that you've been implementing in SUPP objective, so is it possible during the campaign after this, so you will face to face with the voters, or you will be more on the social media, or
we had to do a mix, yeah, because if you look at most of the demographics, I mean, even though a lot of people say we have a lot of new voters, it's not necessarily young, because automatic voting registration means that if you're 99 years old, it's still included, even though, I mean, it's not many lah. But I mean, the biggest group is between 20 and above to 35, and this is the biggest group. But that is about 40% of the many urban seats. But that it also means that 60% of them, right, are still the traditional voters. So it can, I mean, yes, even like my mother, 82 years old, still know how to use handphone now, online shopping, but we still need a mixture of the traditional way, but we also have greatly increased our ways of reaching out through the social media. And so I always encourage all my young leaders, give it a try. I mean, you must never worry of making mistake and then never try. Yeah, I mean, we just have to learn from the young. If we make mistake, we get out and start again.
So how do you see the young voters first time vote for this time? Because what are the information that you think is needed to disseminate so that the young voters can understand the purpose of voting?
Yes.
Not just simply vote for fun.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
I mean, this is always extremely challenging for all the political parties, because the young voters nowadays, I mean, you need to guide them in the sense that voting is a very serious type of responsibilities. We don't want to be like in our neighboring countries, right? They vote the actors. Actors are popular. The actors into politics.
Most goes on to popularity.
Yeah. And then the actors in as the president, and then later on they find that this one actually non-performing because never had that experience. But very good at acting. But it's actually running the country is different. So I mean, we want to say, hey, this is a very serious responsibility. You choose, but you have to choose it correctly. And so you have to choose someone who can do the work, who can deliver the work. And a lot of people misunderstand that election, right? One of the most important things elected a YB is, number one, they are in parliament not to speak out alone. Speak out alone is not good enough because only the YB can do the law. So for example, the MA63 embedded into our constitution. Only the 222 YB can do that. Yang lain semua tengok saja. You can talk, bang, bang, bing, bang, but you are not inside. So our YB, we want to our YB who is selected can go and fight for us. The things that now MA63 by a GPS minister, our Dato Wan Junaidi, that who finally put it in black and white. Yeah. Before that, we thought they said mana black and white, mana law, and now we have it. And inside, remember our Dato Wan Junaidi said, now it's time for us to demand all the things inside, that including our health autonomy. That means that if I'm not happy at the hospital, there's no point to keep on blaming it. And we said we want to take back. We're not happy at the hospital in Sarawak, clinic in Sarawak. Now this time we're going to choose someone who can go to Kuala Lumpur, change the law so that the hospital, the clinic are given back to Sarawak.
That is not only on the GPS, but SUPP itself will fight for it.
Yes, and that's our basic criteria. If we don't believe in this, we don't even put you as candidates.
Dato' Sri, actually, kita sebenarnya ada sedikit sedutan daripada persidangan media semalam yang dilakukan oleh Premier Sarawak, Dato' Pati Gitan Sia Banjori Tun Oping, berkenaan dengan perjuangan GPS juga sebenarnya. Mungkin kita boleh dengarkan terlebih dahulu.
Nama you kaca tu, semua orang ada, tapi kita nanggap lah. Ya, apa kata orang bergerek bergerek tu. Lepas dah diputuskan, yang bergerek aja. Saya dah tunang saya dah. Mungkin tunang buat kahwin. Kita nanggap juga. Orang tunang tu boleh jadi putus juga. Sekian GPS akan bertanding di semua 31 kursi. Dan GPS telah bersetuju kita akan bertanding atas satu perjuangan iaitu Sarawak First. Dan GPS akan mengeluarkan manifesto sendiri. Dan ini adalah pertama kali dalam pilihan raya kebangsaan, national election, that we are contesting on our own. Memang ada muka baru. Memang ada. Tunggulah nomination day. I will call you when I want to announce the candidate. Yeah, I will call you. Because there will be, of course I have to inform the public who are our candidates.
Baik, itu dia tadi sebenarnya apa yang diperkatakan oleh Premier Sarawak Datuk Tinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Tapi sebenarnya kita ingin bertanya kepada Datuk Seri sendiri. Full force on GPS going for GE15 to revitalize GPS itself. How do you look at it?
Okay, since 2018, let me take a step back. PPP and SUPP has been a partner since 1970, so we have been partner for a long time. And then later on, we joined Barisan Nasional. In 2018, we suddenly unexpectedly have a chance to say, hey, let's come out, and then the four Malaysia National Sarawak component party to form together as our own. So this because why we want to do that is because we want to be politically independent, so that whatever we make decision for Sarawak by Sarawakian, and we don't have to go and say, oh, I refer to Kuala Lumpur. You know, and so we know that your basic criteria is if you don't believe in that, your name will not be even in the candidates. You know, if you don't for Sarawak, and some of these, some of our political parties, they said we are for Sarawak, but I need to clear with KL first. You know, so we are political independent. So with that political independence, that's why our Premier Abang Jo said, this is the first time GPS going into this federal election, the Parliament in Malaysia, ourselves. Yeah. We are independent. And just now you can see that, you know, of course, a lot of people call us and try to find out, are we going to work together or what? Yeah. And our positions, GPS position is on the night of election, then we talk. You know, because it's so chaotic in West Malaysia at the moment. It's chaotic in Sabah also at the moment. And since 2018, we are already independent. We might as well continue that. And then what we want to do is on the night election, we'll talk because we basically want to make sure that Malaysia can form a stable government. So can form a stable government, and we want to make sure that because when you form a stable government is so important, because the Malaysian economy do poorly, said the US dollar keep on ringgit keep on dropping against US dollars, it affects Sarawak. Yeah. You know, we cannot run away unless we have Sarawak ringgit. Now at the moment we only have Malaysian ringgit, so cannot run away. That is what the Parliament of Malaysia will have to decide. You know, because it's a law. You want to change that law, you have to go into the federal parliament, you know, in the Malaysia parliament.
So in this case, has there been any changes mentally and strategically after leaving BN, like you stand on GPS?
I think so, because after the 2018 election, the first few days, everybody was so confused and trying to find what's next. Yeah. And then 4 or 5 of us, the leadership within the current GPS come together and said, with the premiers more than 40 years in politics, said, how about we form our own? Because why we form our own? Because we are so unhappy for, like, every time there's a budget, we say they don't give us enough money. Every time there's a school, they don't give us enough funding to repair the school. So I said, let's focus. Let's be a force ourselves, and we tell them that if you want to form partners with GPS, this is our criteria. And so I think for 59 years in formation of Malaysia, this is our once and only chance to that is so near. You know, but then the people of Sarawak has to really come together and believe, trust us. You know, there are many people who talk only, you know, outside, but inside, right? Tengok saja, you know. So we want them to really trust us because GPS we have been delivering. Why is it that recently, if you go to Kuala Lumpur, you go to West Malaysia, everybody said Sarawak bagus. Why everybody said Sarawak bagus? It means that our government, the GPS government in Sarawak, must be doing good for the people.
Stable government.
A stable government, good for the people. You know, and who has BKAS when we are suffering and so on. That means that we really are not only experienced but competent can really
That's the keyword, the competent
to run and to provide. You know, I mean, and we also start thinking, what will happen if the oil is no longer so high in value? What happens if the cars start using electric vehicles and no need oil? So we start thinking ahead for the people of Sarawak, and that's why our premier start doing hydrogen, you know, and talking about carbon captures. So all these and sovereign fund, all this for the people of Sarawak, and not only for now, but for the future generation, for the young generation.
So back to the election topic. So SUPP has lost almost all seats in the last general election. Only Syrian constituency retained. So how would you regain the lost seats this time to restore people's support and also confidence in SUPP?
I think, I mean, when I first took over as a president 2014, it's very, very tough. Yeah, it's very tough because if you go back, you remember 2011 when I stand for election, I also lost. And the campaign is what Dr. Singh is a doctor. Don't vote for him. Send him back to hospital. And everybody agree. But then everyone failed to realize that if Dr. Singh was given opportunity, right? I mean, 2016, I'm very grateful for the people in Batakawa to give me the opportunity. You see, Batakawa in over 5 years, it's a transformed Batakawa, and I mean, this is what competent politicians can do. So I mean, 2018, it's only 2 years after I become white adun for Batakawa. It's always very difficult because in 2 years it's too short to see something, but 5 years you definitely can see something. And you can see that we are so competent during COVID-19. We made Sarawak the best. We made the people in Sarawak the safest. And at the end of the day, we bring everybody through, you know, together. And so since 2018 election and until now, it's quite a lot of changes. And we are very grateful for last year and that December last year that the people of Sarawak has given us another chance to prove ourselves, and we will not let them down. And this time around, we said the parliament is so important because why? The MS63, these are major things that we can make a difference for us in Sarawak. The school, the hospital, the clinics, you know, our more money from federal government, our money, our income tax, you know, and then all the other aspects, like 1/3 of the member of parliaments, so that forever they cannot change the constitution. I mean, at the moment, West Malaysians are weak. They say, okay, agree MS63, but what happens in the future? They are strong and said, I delete MS63. So that's why we want to make sure that this is a time for Sabah and Sarawak to make sure that we will implement the 1/3 of member parliaments in Malaysia from Sabah and Sarawak. And Sarawak wants to make use of that opportunity. The time to fight is now. Sometimes you fight for so long, nothing happens. Just like for motor cars running on petrol for 100 years. But the next 10 years, right, suddenly they will run for electric vehicles, they run on hydrogen, and petrol will be only for all cars. And not saying that petrol will not used for anybody. Ada kereta lama.
Dato Sri, regarding the development in Sarawak itself, so I've been keeping this question some time regarding how do you look at the digitalization of the entrepreneur on the hawkers itself. So
there are a few things. I mean, one, the traditional issues of water and electricity is in last mile. You know, it's almost last mile. But then also at a very opportune time, in the last mile now we start using the digital already. You know, digital, so that we know where is the water leak. Last time water leak, we go around the road and look at where is the water puddles. And now all these digital are coming in. The digitalization is basically to allow you and me and everyone to live a better quality of life. You know, and when you say better quality of life, meaning that all the information in terms of businesses, I mean, just like a whole lot of new new ways of doing business, online business. All these are new another opportunity. And when you're online, you don't stay in Sarawak, you don't stay in Kuching, you go all over the world. You know, and likewise at the same time. The digital is going to be so important for us in Sarawak because why? We are going to be aging population. Banyak orang tua, including myself. And then the baby not coming out. Last year we only had 20,000 Sarawakian born. Normally we have 40,000. So you got less baby, banyak orang tua. Who is going to look after? So we need to, all this digitalization, all this technology will enable us to, while we live longer, will enable us to live a better quality of life. Yeah.
The green energy and digitalization, so will SUPP itself actually create or present the skeleton, because people out there, not including me actually, we're looking at what are the skeleton that we can see.
Yeah, it's always a challenge because I mean, when we have all this policy, I mean, the digital roadmap 2030, often people say it's so blurred. I do not know. You know? So these are the type of things that we need to sit down with to say, okay. I mean, sometimes all this roadmap is why you are so blurred, because we cannot think of every single aspect. If we think of every single aspect, right, it's like fishing, give you the fish. But what we want to do is to teach you how to fish. You know? So, okay, we know that, I mean, digital health is important. Digital health is important. Then how are we going to set out at home? Your monitoring.
People in the rural areas.
Monitoring, even, I mean, if you live in apartments, and as you get old, right, you're not going to be highly run around. And there are many people live by themselves. And then if they fall down, nobody knows. You know, so all this will involving in, we will tell the young one, how about, since you are expert in this, this is a good idea. Can we work together and how to bring this technology to home? And then the government said, okay, we make policy to help you. You know, and all this is so important to work together, and that's why there's always a communication, that constant communication that we need to do. You know, otherwise, right? Otherwise, you read all this big policy 2030, all those things. You say it's a very thick book, and not it lost your interest.
Thank you, Dr. Sri, on that.
Thank you, Dr. Sim. So back to the election question again. So, okay, may I ask if with the low turnout during the last election and also the increase in voters under this Undi 18 policy, do you expect more turnout this time around for the general election?
Yeah. I mean, as a whole, I mean, number one, voting is a responsibility. Unless you say, I'm not citizen of Sarawak, you know. If you're a citizen of Sarawak, you have to do your duty, you know. And then secondly, I mean, even though we want everybody to, we want as many people to come to vote, because we want to be truly, let you vote truly represent you. We don't want to be only 30% people voting and then you menang. Then we say 70% silent. You know, and we want as many people to come to vote, and whether it rains or shine, you know, and because it's your responsibility. We are not like Australia or Singapore. They fine you if you don't come to vote. You know, not yet. I mean, we think that we are we love Sarawak good enough for you to come out and to vote. And so you know, the Undi 18 is not Undi 18, it's Undi 18 and automatic registration.
Yes.
The automatic registration means that a lot of people who in the past don't bother to register. And these segments, right, I hope that last time they don't bother to register, so they don't have a chance to vote. And now it's automatic, right? So you can no more excuse say, oh, I need to go and register. You know, I hope that
there's no excuse anymore.
Yes, I hope that they will exercise their responsibility and their right to come out to vote, and so that it's truly representing, I mean, our Sarawakians' wishes, who they want to be leaders, because we want to work. If you elect me in Batkawa, I work for everyone in Batkawa, you know. And of course now as a minister in Sarawak, I had to work for everyone in Sarawak.
So for your Undi 18 itself, what are the message that you will deliver to them to tell them this is your responsibility?
And
You
vote
need to go
rationally,
to vote.
not by emotion.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I always tell people, number one, if you are unhappy or you always complain, right, and sit at home, right, things not going to change, right? And you have to look at the characters of the YB, who can deliver. You know, some, right, I mean, already given a chance, who even minister, don't even know how to be a minister. Who is a YB, don't even know how to fight for you. So it's important for the young people to really vote for a good, proven records, because what we are doing now, say about sovereign fund, it's not for me. By the time the money, a lot of money left, right, and too old, saya tengok saja, you know, but it will be for them, you know. So you're 18 years old, we really want you to vote wisely, because why? Because in Sarawak we got 2030 coming. We need so many young talents. We are creating jobs for them. For a long time they said no jobs. They had to go to Kuala Lumpur and all those things. But next year, one example is our hydrogen plant under petang in Bintulu. They need 1,500 chemical engineers. How to find 1,500 chemical engineers? And these are very highly paid. So can you imagine? I mean, we create this job, but then pay the high salary, all some foreigners, and Sarawakian tengok saja. So these are coming. We never had so many highly paid jobs coming, and more are coming. So for the Undi 18, I mean, we and all those automatic, we want them to trust us, trust GPS, because we got clear agenda. We tell you, you vote for us, this is what we're going to do, and is we need so many young people to come out to take all these jobs and all this responsibility, because everyone is very proud of Sarawak at the moment. There are so many want to kind of live in Sarawak, but we don't want to stop there. We want to continue to go so that let the others admire us and to come after us, because for 59 years we finally has a chance. You know, we finally had a chance. And last time we all said, oh, Kuala Lumpur better. We're jealous of Kuala Lumpur. We're jealous of Penang. Now it's their people jealous about us. You know, so I want Sarawakian to really let's focus, together focus. Let's together make what 2030 happening. Let's together take back our hospital, take back our clinic, take back our schools, because we got enough Sarawakian to run the school now. We got enough nurses to run our own clinic now. 30 years ago, we need a lot of doctors from West Malaysia. But now we got a lot of own local doctors. Now we say we give a chance to back ourselves. We decide how we're going to do, because a lot of Ministry of Health model is not applicable to us, not suitable to us, because the Ministry of Health is based on population. We don't have population, but we are spread out so fast. So we have to our own ways of tackling health, hospital, clinic, and so on. Yeah.
Obviously, all the developments awaits them, job opportunities is there. But been debating in the social media right now at the moment regarding the candidates or the party or the coalition.
Yes.
And also some said for state election, vote for state government.
Yeah.
For general election, vote for opposition. What is your...
I mean, there is a lot of fake news going on and a lot of misguided or misleading ways. You know, number one, if a person is no good, right? Whether the state election or federal election is still no good. Okay, I mean, it made no difference. Yeah, I mean, so that is point one. Second point, this is, a chance for Sarawak to show that we are united, we are so powerful, right? That why we need so powerful? All the time you are powerful, West Malaysia is more powerful than you. Now is the time in which if we are powerful, then we can get whatever all to us. You know, for so many years we cannot get that. Now we are getting it. I mean, if you look at it closely, we never had Sarawak Coast Guard. You know, we never have Sarawak own office in Singapore. We never had Petroleum Sarawak. Tonight, Petroleum Sarawak only 5 years only 5 years after it started, it's a $1 billion company. And this $1 billion company means what? It's 100% Sarawak government, 100% every Sarawakian. You know, and it can be 100% Sarawakian, but then it means that Dr. Singh owns 51%. You know, but it's not. It's every Sarawakian.
So, Dr. Sim, so what is your hope and policy for the next 5 years? How do SUPP or GPS policies can help people in general in achieving all this?
Maybe in 3 or 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, GPS and SUPP has contributed to the GPS. You know, SUPP is the first one to talk about MA63.
Yeah.
You know, then Tan Sri Adinam pick it up. You know, so all these is share ideas, and SUPP alone not powerful enough because SUPP even win all the parliamentary seats only 7 seats, but we need the 31 seats to go with us, so that instead of just SUPP philosophy is GPS philosophy. And we have so many things that we need to do, and we know what are the issues now. And in the past, we know what are the issues, but we tengok saja because we're not powerful enough. And now we got a chance to be powerful.
The strength is there.
Yeah, we got a chance, you know, after 59 years. So if that's why we do all this, so that then we need every Sarawakian to work together with us, because the political party cannot do it by itself. Question that Sarawak is #1 GDP, most prosperous in Malaysia. Number 2, Sarawak will share all the resources inclusive, and that's why we start our sovereign fund. You know, and then Sarawak will be environmentally sustainable, so that we contribute to the world instead of having funny weather and so on. You know, we don't want to flash flood and like what we see in Pakistan. 1/3 of the country is down in the flooded. So we are planning ahead, and often then you look at all the other opposition. What have they planned? Yes. The laksa, the prawn is a bit too big. You know, I mean, so what are you going to plan for the people of Sarawak? You know, and so that is important. Yeah.
All right, Dato Sri. Thank you very much. All the question been answered. Tapi ada satu soalan saya sebenarnya, Dato Sri, sebab besok Election Commission we had a meeting, so kita menjangkakan ada tarikh-tarikh tertentu yang dinantikan oleh seluruh rakyat Malaysia sebenarnya. Mungkin Dato Sri ada angka-angka yang dijangka.
I mean, none of us, like the rest of us, can only guessing. And what we know is they probably by law, what requiring is even the nomination by law, after the nomination date, by law you need to be 10 days. So minimum 10 days, but it can be longer. After the tomorrow, right? Our SPR decide. By law, they must have X number of days before allowed nomination. That one we know. So the rest, right? We wait for tomorrow, lah. I mean, because it's so soon. I mean, otherwise, there's no point to speculate. What we know is within 60 days, it must have an election, you know, and so we are coming. I mean, because dissolved on the 10th, on the 20th, the SPRs bincang, and then with that, then they will have a date for nomination. They will have a date for undi. So it will be very soon.
The mission is 31 seat.
The mission is 31 seats. Our Premier Abanjo want us to work hard for it. Nothing is impossible if we all come together, you know. But I mean, one of the issue will be within the GPS, within SUPP, everyone must come together. Because I mean, sometimes the biggest enemy is inside, not outside. You know, but if we all come together, it's possible because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to do something for Sarawak. It falls in our generation. You know, maybe in 5 years' time, the West Malaysia may be very strong already. You know, but by then, if we have tapped back already, doesn't matter. You know, the worst is we miss this opportunity in 5 years' time. We tengok saja.
Baik, terima kasih Dato Sri Hian, iaitu Presiden Parti Rakyat Bersatu Sarawak SUPP, kerana sudi bersama kita dalam Malaysia Decides Sayang Malaysia into Malaysia. Jaridin, sebenarnya kita ada kapsul untuk kita paparkan kepada penonton. Mungkin kita boleh saksikan terus, Jaridin?
Ya.
sangat signifikan di kawasan ini. Jambatan merentasi sungai terpanjang di Malaysia. Pembinaannya mengubah cara hidup rakyat dalam segenap aspek, membawa masuk banyak peluang ekonomi maupun pembangunan di kawasan. Tak lama lagi, kemudahan R&R pula akan mula beroperasi di sini. Ini dan banyak lagi pembangunan dalam P200 Batang Sadong. Parlimen Batang Sadong merupakan kawasan parlimen di bahagian Samarahan yang menerima nikmat pembangunan daripada Agensi Pembangunan Wilayah Bersepadu Samarahan atau lebih dikenali sebagai IRSDA. Bertujuan untuk mempercepat pembangunan di bahagian Samarahan secara holistik, IRSDA banyak memberi impak kepada kemajuan di Batang Sadong. Dan mengetuai sektor pelancongan dalam IRSDA ini ialah ahli Parlimen Batang Sadong sendiri, iaitu Dato Sri Nancy Shukri. Nama yang tidak asing dalam politik Sarawak, lebih-lebih lagi bagi masyarakat di Parlimen Batang Sadong. Selain berpengalaman luas bekerja secara dekat sebagai setiausaha politik kepada Ketua Menteri Sarawak ketika itu, iaitu Tuan Yang Terutama Tun Abdul Taib Mahmud pada 2008. Wanita berketurunan Iban, Cina, Scotland, Melayu, Melanau ini berjaya mengekalkan kemenangan di Batang Sadong dengan majoriti 12,328 undi pada PRU14 dalam pertemuan 3 penjuru di antara Othman Mustafa, calon PKR dan Ahsan Sinkro, calon PAS. Dahulu, di sinilah penduduk tempatan mengambil peluang menjalankan aktiviti perniagaan kepada pengguna-pengguna feri Batang Sadong. Aktiviti ini tidak terhenti di sini kerana pembukaan jambatan Batang Sadong beberapa tahun lepas merancakkan lagi ekonomi rakyat serta membawa masuk lebih banyak pembangunan khususnya infrastruktur dan kemudahan asas. Antaranya, kemudahan asas air tidak lagi menjadi satu dilema bagi penduduk Gedong, khususnya penduduk di Kampung Bangka Semong, Lubuk Punggor, Lubuk Buntin, Tanjung Sap dan Benat Hilir kerana projek naik taraf bekalan air luar bandar bantu bekalkan air melalui satu grid air dari Kuching. Projek bernilai lebih RM40 juta ini merangkumi pemasangan sesalur, pembinaan stesen penggalak, rumah pam dan tangki air aras tinggi. Penyiapan projek ini bagaikan impian jadi kenyataan kepada penduduk di daerah Gedong dan secara tidak langsung membantu kembangkan potensi kawasan dalam sektor pertanian, terutamanya penanaman padi dan sawit. Akan datang di sini ialah pembinaan laluan tepi Sungai Gedong sepanjang 5 km dari Kampung Lalang Tengah ke Jambatan menghubungkan Gedong dan Simunjan bagi menarik pelancong luar memandangkan daerah Gedong ini akan menjadi sentral menghubungkan Gedong dan Serian serta Simunjan. Simunjan juga antara kawasan dun yang tidak terlepas daripada mempunyai tarikan pelancongan baru di bawah peruntukan IRSDA, Simunjan Esplanade. Projek yang merangkumi 2 fasa ini telah dirasmikan pada 20 Ogos 2022 oleh Premier Sarawak dan menempatkan gerai-gerai jualan penduduk tempatan serta kemudahan-kemudahan awam untuk kegunaan pengunjung. Pembangunan ekonomi rakyat, terutama melalui industri pelancongan dan keusahawanan, menjadi usaha berterusan wakil rakyat di kawasan Batang Sadong melihat kepada potensi kawasan ini yang terletak di pesisir Sungai Batang Sadong. Dan kepada anda yang ingin berkunjung ke Parlimen Batang Sadong, jom kita lihat apa yang penduduk di kawasan ini rekomen untuk anda bawa pulang sebagai buah tangan. Apa yang best di Gedong?
Mun di Gedong, mun dari segi makanan kami rekomen mi udang Gedong lah sebab banyak aktiviti konvoy motosikal banyak singgah ke sini.
Kue bolaka, kue tako dengan kue perahu. Songket, pasya mi udang gumpe ataupun mi udang Gedong lah.
Kemudian udang selalu, ikan labang.
Ikan turbuk.
Ikan turbuk.
Buah kristal, buah durian, ikan turbuk, udang.
Ikan turbuk, rumput, lumek.
Oh, durian lah, ada lain.
Turbuk masin.
Udang galah masih dalam harga yang murah lah. Banding dengan tempat lain. Situ RM30 pun masih ada temu. Aja, sebulan aja.
Baik, itu dia tadi pemandangan ataupun kapsul penerangan berkenaan dengan kawasan di Batang Sadong, dan sebenarnya kita juga nanti pada anda penonton di rumah kita akan bawakan juga di dalam Malaysia Decide ini sepanjang tempoh pilihan raya ke-15 ini kita akan bawakan perkembangan di setiap tempat, hampir di setiap tempat sebenarnya. Ada di Batang Sadong, ada di Miri, ada di Kapit, di Kanawit, sebagainya, untuk membawakan suara-suara anda yang berada di rumah, di kawasan lainnya berkenaan dengan apa sebenarnya yang diharapkan sepanjang tempoh pilihan raya yang bakal berlangsung nanti, kerana besok ada mesyuarat SPR yang akan mengumumkan berkenaan dengan tarikh yang sangat dinanti, seperti apa yang dikatakan oleh tetamu kita sebentar tadi, iaitu Dato Seri Dr. Hian mengatakan tarikh itu tidak berapa lama lagi, mungkin ada tempohnya dalam kurang lebih ada 2 minggu begitu. Tapi apa yang boleh kita rumuskan daripada hasil perbincangan dan temu bual bersama Dr. Sim tadi. Jadi ada yang bertanya berkenaan dengan undi 18 tadi. Kita melihat sebenarnya kalau Geraldine sendiri melihat undi 18 yang kita fahami, apa sebenarnya hala tuju SUPP itu sendiri? Kalau the way you see it.
I think they are trying to nurturing the young leadership for SUPP because they will step down and they will pass to the next generation. So maybe undi 18, especially for the young voters, is very important for them.
Dan mungkin ada sedikit kesukaran untuk mereka berhadapan dengan itu. Tapi itu yang diperjuangkan oleh SUPP sendiri, dan apa yang diperkatakan juga adalah berkaitan dengan kekuatan dan juga semangat yang diperoleh oleh gabungan Parti Sarawak sendiri, GPS, bagaimana untuk memenangi 31 kerusi itu pada GE ataupun Pilihan Raya Umum ke-15 nanti. Jadi saya rasa tidak apa yang boleh kita kongsikan pada minit-minit akhir ini adalah jangan lupa saksikan Malaysia Decide esok, kerana kita akan bawakan perkembangan sedikit awal sekitar jam 11 pagi esok sehingga pukul 1 tengah hari, kerana kita akan bawakan juga siaran langsung bersama dengan pengerusi SPR sendiri yang akan membuat sidang media untuk pengumuman tarikh-tarikh penting itu. Dan jadi
kepada anda yang di rumah, jangan lupa ikuti social media platform kami di Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube dan juga TikTok untuk siaran berita semasa, hiburan dan juga variasi tanpa henti. Anda juga boleh dapatkan perkembangan terkini secara dalam talian di laman web TVS at tvstv.my. Bermula Jumaat ini, 21 Oktober, program realiti terbaru at TVS, Getaran Jiwa akan menemui penonton. Jangan lupa saksikan kapsul Debaran Jiwa pada 7.30 malam, diikuti siaran langsung konsert Getaran Jiwa pada 8.45 malam. Orang ramai juga turut dijemput untuk menonton konsert secara langsung di Stadium MBKS Bintawa. Maklumat lanjut ikuti laman sosial Facebook dan juga Instagram Getaran Jiwa. Sekian dulu dari saya, Geraldine Chan.
Dan saya Syahir Rizal Kemelarifin. Assalamualaikum dan jumpa lagi.
Kembara seorang nomad merentas tanah tinggi bumi Kenyalang. Eksplorasi aroma gastronomi, adat dan budaya.
Tidak kau garis.
Aroma dia kuat dari buah dabai asli.
Bersama saya, Zaharis Kuzaimah dalam Aroma Puncak Borneo.
Selasa, 9.30 pagi di TVS.
Okey, murid-murid, cuba sebutkan perkataan ini.
Oh, senang juga.